Saludos de Texas. My name is Lorenzo Lasater. I'm with Beefmasters in San Angelo, Texas. And Jorge Golada asked me to share a little bit about the Beefmaster breed. So I'll give you a brief history of that. And I appreciate your interest. The breed was developed by my grandfather in the 1930s in southern Texas. But the story actually goes back much further than that. My great-grandfather began developing component cattle in the late 1800s. He developed a large herd of ring-eyed Herefords that were selected for pigment around their eyes to protect them from pink eye and sunburn from the Texas heat. And then he began experimenting with Brahman-influenced cattle, Bos Indicus cattle, in the 1960s to try and deal with the lack of heat tolerance in the Herefords. And he imported Gyr and Nellore bulls from India and Nellore from Brazil and Gyr and Gujarat from India, and began crossbreeding with those Herefords. So he developed a large Hereford herd and a large crossbred or F1 herd. In the early 1930s, he died, and it was during the Great Economic Depression in the United States, and he lost most of the land and cattle through his death. But my grandfather came home from college to kind of hold together what was left of the ranch, and continued experimenting with crossbreeding, primarily due to the lack of money to buy bulls, but also because he could see those crossbreds were a lot better than the purebreds. And he actually added some milking shorthorns along the way to try and up the milk productivity of the cattle. And so he ended up in the early 1930s with two herds, a Brahman Bos Indicus Hereford cross herd and a Bos Indicus shorthorn cross herd. And again, the Bos Indicus component was Gyr, Gujarat, and Nellore. And then he experimented. He crossed those two herds, the bulls of one on the females of the other, and vice versa. And when he saw the three-way calves, he realized they were much better than anything he'd seen before, and he went with those. And the three-way crosser composite has the maximum amount of built-in heterosis, and it achieved the right balance of the traits he was looking for. And so he closed the herd to outside genetics in 1937, and it's thought to be the oldest closed herd in the world. It continues today. The foundation herd is a closed herd. So last year was 80 years from the time the herd was closed, which I view as the genesis of the breed. So while the family's been working on it longer than that, it's 80 generations since the breed was technically formed. So today we view it as a homozygous beef breed. It's a maternal dual-purpose carcass breed. Its position in the United States, it's currently, I think, 8th or 9th in registrations among the 100 some odd breeds in the United States, but it's the largest of the American breeds of those that were developed in the United States. So one of the things that makes it unique is it was developed under a selection system revolving purely around economic traits. My grandfather called this the 6 essentials, and today it's known as the Lasater philosophy. And I'll share a book with you later about that if you're interested. But anyway, his idea was that you select for these 6 important essential economic traits and nothing else, in which you don't add aesthetics or anything else into it. And if you achieve this balance, if you don't exclude any of them and do them all in balance, you'll have the best possible cattle. So those traits are fertility, weight, conformation, hardiness, milk production, and disposition. And again, that system is tried and true today. In other words, we follow that roadmap today just like he did 80 years ago, and the cattle continue to get better. So as I mentioned, the cattle have been selected over 80 years and 3 generations of my family for this balanced approach using the 6 essentials. And the result is a unique grass-based beef cow. And she has a lot of, in particular on the maternal side, has a lot of traits that are really important from a ranching standpoint. We have a lot of built-in calving ease. They're legendary mothers. They're known to live a long time, raise a good calf, really take good care of their calves. They're thrifty, low-maintenance type females. They're gentle and responsive. So I mentioned that disposition was one of the 6 essentials, and so we have called on disposition for lifetime, my lifetime and my father's lifetime, and the resulting cattle are really responsive and intelligent. And I mentioned longevity, and this is a thing that's really gotten important in the United States as the herd became increasingly Angus or English, the cow productive life was going way down. I've had customers tell me 6, 7, 8 years is all they're getting out of these cows before they break down. And Beefmasters routinely go to 12, 15 years. And so there's a lot of money, hidden profit to be had in cows that last a long time. On the beef chain side, What you get with the Beefmaster is maximum heterosis. They provide a wonderful outcross on just about any type of cow you have. In Argentina in the south, anyway, you have a lot of Hereford and Angus, and there is a wonderful cross on that. You get a huge jump in weights. The improvements in the females that I just mentioned on the replacement female side. The cattle are high growth and again thrifty. They're very efficient gainers. So both on grass and then in our system here in a feed yard, they're incredibly efficient either way at processing feed. They're both heat and insect resistant. So my grandfather developed the breed specifically to be heat and insect resistant. So he selected for that over many years, and so you get a real built-in heat tolerance with the Bosindicus component. But you get a improved carcass side from the Bos Taurus side, and that's the thing that a lot of countries in Latin America that we work in are interested in improving is the carcass quality. They've got wonderful adapted Brahman type or Nellore type cows, but the carcass quality is not good enough for export or for higher end markets, and so they're looking to improve that in the new global market. So you get great carcass quality and great feed efficiency. So I think all of these in a package makes it a really well-rounded beef breed and a great component to any breeding program. If you would like more information about the cattle or our operation, there's a wealth of information could be had on our website at isabeefmasters.com. That's ISA Beefmasters with an S on the end.com. I've got material in Spanish and English on there. We also, the book that I mentioned, this was written by my dad in the 1960s. This is The Lasater Philosophy of Cattle Raising. We offer it in Spanish. We also have ebook versions for reading on a Kindle or an Apple device, so you can download all those from our website as well. If anybody would like to reach me directly with any questions, my email is lorenzo@isabeefmasters.com, or you can reach me through the website. And I appreciate your time and consideration. Saludos.